Welcome to the In Real Life Fantasy Formula One paddock, and welcome to your new career as a Formula One team principal. When you first log on to In Real Life Fantasy Formula One, you'll be presented with the log-on screen. On this screen, you'll find on the right-hand side the system broadcasts, which show any key major system-related issues, and on the left-hand side, a simple login screen. If you're brand new to this game, put in your email address and a password and hit Create Account. It will then ask you to input a team name before it takes you to the next screen. I already have done that, so I'll input that in. If you're a free player, you'll be presented with this screen here, and all you have to do is click Enter the Game Hub. This is the main screen of your brand new 2026 Formula One team. Welcome to your headquarters. I'd like to highlight the key differences that In Real Life Fantasy Formula One has against other Fantasy Formula One games. Other Fantasy Formula One games tend to see you picking 5 drivers and a team, and you'll be able to swap those teams and drivers in and out as you go throughout the season. In Real Life Fantasy Formula One, you pick 2 drivers, you pick a chassis, an engine, a team principal, and a technical director. And after the start of qualifying of race 1, you're locked into those drivers, that chassis, that engine, that team principal, and that technical director, just like real life Formula One teams are. Importantly, you will be able to change your team at any point before the start of qualifying for round 1 only. So you'll be able to pick your team and change it as you see what your friends and family have picked around you and decide that their choices were fundamentally better than the ones you originally picked. However, it doesn't stop you from developing your team, and that's the difference with this game. It's more about you as a manager understanding what your overall aim is. As we go throughout this tutorial, I'm going to pretend that all I want to do is win the Drivers' Championship. The Drivers' Championship is one of 3 sub-championships that you can win. You can win the Drivers' Championship, which is a total of your 2 drivers. You can win the Constructors' Championship, which is a total of your chassis and your engine. Or you can win the Management Championship, which is the total of your team principal, technical director, and your overall money. There'll be other videos made on some of these things later on to give more detail on all of these. All 3 of these championships add up to give you your total overall championship score. On the league table on the right-hand side, you can break it down by each of those 3 things. For the purposes of this tutorial, though, I'm going to pretend that all I want to do is win the Drivers' Championship. With that in mind, I would look at that and say, I think there's probably a better driver than Carlos, so I'll be able to go in and edit my team assets. If you don't have a team, there'll be a big button saying initialize your team now. If you click on it, it will bring you to this screen. You can set your team name. It will automatically load the one you've picked, but if you want to change it, you can change it here. At this point, you can select different assets. George Russell is going to be infinitely more successful than Carlos Sainz in 2026. That's probably incredibly unfair of me to say, but let's just go with that for now. I'm now overspent by 20 million, so I'm going to go for Racing Bulls because they did pretty well last year. I'm going to keep everything else. I'm going to lose James Allison and let's go for Cadillac. Let's go for Nick Chester. He might throw up a couple of surprises, and then I'm going to save my team. And then that will bring me back here, and you'll see that my team has changed, and I can do that as many times as I like before the start of qualifying of the first round. This brings me on to the second key point that I wish to make in this tutorial, and that is the 2 limited resources in this game. The first is finances. This finance screen will ultimately give you a breakdown of all of your races and how much money you won from sponsors, and prize money which you get for how high up your drivers finished, for example. Then it will give you a running total. And you'll be able to click on them and see exactly where that money came from. Over on the right-hand side, you'll see an income chart showing how successful you've been by race and which races you earned more money on. Money makes the world in Formula One go round and is the first of the 2 limited resources. The second of those two limited resources is development points. You earn development points from your technical director. At the moment, I'm earning 5 development points per race. I'll make a longer video on development points and the impact they can have on your team later on. But fundamentally, this is what stands in real life racing out from other Formula One games. As we've discussed, you might pick 5 drivers and swap them in and out. In real life, because your team is set and locked for the entire season, it is up to you as the manager to strategically pick which development you're going to pay for to make the best use of your team, be that drivers, be that the engine, be that your chassis. For the purposes of this tutorial, for example, we said we wanted to win the Drivers' Championship, so we would very much look to the driver performance, and I would look to save up 15 development points, which at my current rate of 5 per race would take me 3 races to save up, and $5 million to get the race weekend prep, which earns me 10% extra to each individual driver's points. For example, instead of earning 10 points, you'd earn 11 points, which adds up over the course of the year and could make you stand out above the crowd. Then I would look to get the personal trainer, which is cumulative, so it's an extra 20%. So you're now actually getting virtually another 30% extra, and then the simulator upgrade. And you'll see that costs 60 development points and 18 million. So you need to save up quite a lot for that. You can only unlock the simulator upgrade if you have the personal trainer, and you can only unlock the personal trainer if you've got the race weekend prep. And for free players, you only have access to tier 1 upgrades. And for pro players, you've got access to the whole lot. That is what makes us stand out, is those development trees and your choices that you make and the impact that has on how many points you earn over the course of the year. I'll give you an example. For the 2024 season, the Mercedes powertrain won by a clear margin. It earned something like 200 points more than the next leading engine, which, if I recall correctly, was Ferrari. If you did all of the powertrain optimization upgrades, which are these ones here, Ferrari came out as only 50 points behind an upgraded Mercedes powertrain within the context of the game. You can upgrade a slightly weaker asset to be equal or nearly equal to a significantly more powerful one in the case of powertrains. How you spend your development points and money is absolutely crucial. Just bringing us back to the Team Hub to show you how that all fits in. You've got your overall points, rank, money, and how many development points you currently have. And these are those 2 limited assets that you're going to have to manage very carefully. In terms of money, though, I said there were 2 ways of making money. One is prize money, depending on where your drivers finish. The second is sponsorship, so I'm going to touch on that. Clicking on the commercial tab, you will be able to select your title sponsor. They won't say no, so as soon as you've selected it, it is yours for the whole season, and it gives you a payout at the end of the season. So, in this case, if I wanted to press for the Drivers' Championship, I would pick this particular one, because if I finish in the top 10% of the Drivers' Championship table, I gain an extra $50 million. If that was my aim from the beginning of the season, that would not be the title sponsor I would choose. If you are a pro player, at the beginning of every race, you will pick 2 race partners. If going down the Drivers' Championship route, I would hope one of my drivers would finish on the podium, so I might pick the Zenith podium partner and earn 3.5 million for each podium finish. If I'm particularly lucky and both drivers finish on the podium, then I get 7 million in total, which would be a nice cash boost for any team. And that is how sponsorship works. You can set yourself up a league by just typing in any league name. You can hit create league. At this point, this will pop up and you can invite friends along, which will open up your email browser to send an email to your friends with a quick introduction and how to join that league and the league ID code they need. It is that league ID code that will get filtered in here, and you can hit join league so your friends will be able to join the league. That's how you can create and join a league. I'm going to bring you back now to the team home, and show you what that looks like. So before we were in the Pro Championship section, and you could see all of the other players and you can click on them and see what their teams are doing. When you're in a league with someone, you will be able to see all of the players in that league. You can be in as many leagues as you want, as you have a drop-down list, so you can see all of the different leagues you are in and select whichever league you wish to look at and see how well you're doing against your friends. This brings me on to the very last feature I'd like to highlight, and it does involve the league table on the main team hub. There are stars next to each team. This is important in terms of being able to communicate with just your friends outside of a league. If you were to favorite one of them, they would get a message in their inbox saying that I've favorited them. If they favorite me back, you can go to inbox, select new message, and you will be able to select their name from the drop-down list here. You'll see that no one has favorited this particular account because it's just the admin account. The name would appear here, and then you'd be able to send a message. If you're in a league like I am now, you can select the league and write a message to the entire league, which will send that same message to everyone in your league. That's really important from a security point of view, to make sure that you can't message any and everyone that is playing the game. And just to bring you back to how that's done, it is simply done by clicking on and clicking off these stars. And you can unfavorite people if you don't want to have them in your favorites. By favoriting them, it does mean that you can see them on a separate list of all your favorites. You can keep an eye on where your friends are up to across different leagues and everything that is going on. And the final point I'll make is the external comms. This is just a copy of what you saw on that very first log-on screen where you put in your email address and password. It allows you to get quick access to player guides, our Discord channel, our YouTube channel. And this video, if you're in the middle of playing the game and you've forgotten something and you want to listen to the video again, you can easily pick it up here without having to log out and go back to the main screen. So that sums up the key concepts and the core gameplay of how in real life Fantasy Formula One works. To all those budding team principals out there, I hope you really enjoy playing this game. I would highlight the Discord channel, as this game is still very much under development. I'd love to hear from every single one of you as to the experience you're having. This isn't a full-time job for me, so it might take a couple of days before I can sit down at my computer and start doing some more coding, but I'll be on Discord to hear all of your thoughts and feedback. Thank you for listening to this, and thank you for your future interaction to make this game even better, and thank you for playing the game in the first place. I very much look forward to seeing you all in the pit lane at the track for what I hope to be a very exciting 2026 season.